Probably doesn't have, brings up some controversial feelings to people in the United States due to, terrorism and people directly associating Islam with terrorism.
I feel like that's really one class of people that are really misrepresented in media, and that's something that needs to change.
But I think historically speaking, a lot of things are overlooked, and a lot of advancements and a lot of progress is really discounted just because it's associated with Islam as a religion, and it's not really given a fair chance to be considered.
Like recently, last year, I got asked a really interesting question in class, like in front of all of my students. I got asked how old I thought the Earth was. And I thought that was a really, really interesting question, why it was directed at me. And I answered, the 4.3 billion years that scientists tell us it is. But it made me question whether I was taken seriously as an intellectual, as a scholar.
The thing is, it's not true, The thing is that Muslim intellectuals are very active in terms of thinking about their place in the world and thinking about the place their religion can, or the role that their religion can play in debates about secularism, about all sorts of 20th century philosophy that has threatened the position of religion in the Western world.
And what's interesting about the Quran is that it constantly addresses the intellect. It constantly addresses those who ponder, those who think deeply, those who use their intellectual capabilities to make sense of the world. And so to deny that in the name of Islam is lacking. It's lacking an understanding of the fundamentals of Islam.
There are explicit statements that warning against going to extremes where one goes beyond the bounds in their religion. And this is a precedent that's set clearly by the Prophet Muhammad himself, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So we say that the lack of Islamic education is actually what has led to extremism, not the other way around. There are people who think that going to the Islamic school is what breeds it. Actually, a miseducation or a shortcoming in education is what leads to this. That's the main point I wanted to make very clear, and I think that's lost on many.
All these verses are in the Quran, in black and white, signs in the heavens and the earth for those who reflect, for those who think, rather than for those who have faith. It's like for those who use their minds, if you look at the translation. So we really emphasize to our students that this is a duty for you to learn and to understand, investigate, research. It's part of your religious duty.
And I feel it's very important for scholars and academics to really not just be academics in the ivory tower of academia, but also to be public intellectuals who are able to offer help to their own community and their own society as much as possible. Academic work is very demanding and it takes a lot of time and effort, but I always believe that whatever we can do out there to the community in terms of helping our society, our community to the best of our ability, that is really very valuable because it brings about the application of whatever theoretical knowledge we have into the real world.
Our students learn activism. Like from the get-go, we're always doing stuff. We're fundraising, we're doing programs, we're if there's social justice issues to talk about, the Patriot Act, all that stuff, political involvement, civil liberties, advocating for that, they see it right in front of them. Like they see it all the time. So they're being raised with this awareness that we need to be involved and engaged and not be run over as well.
I've been a pretty active member in an organization called United Muslim Relief. And so United Muslim Relief focuses on integrating our faith with education and community service. So we usually have our big event each year is an event called Rise for the Brave. and we've been able to raise over $130,000 over the course of the past 3 events that support refugees in Syria. And during the school year, we usually have about 2-3 events each semester that support a very broad range of humanitarian causes, both locally and internationally.
My mosque went down to Haiti in the islands when there was natural disasters, and they go and give basically free health care and set up almost minute clinics, but for months, and just take supplies from here and get donations from the different Muslim doctors that we have within our congregation, and branching out to other Islamic groups, and taking the free healthcare, taking it to these countries that don't have anything with zero cost to them.